Tonight I saw Venom, Let There Be Carnage, and there wasn't a single thing I enjoyed about this movie. I didn't see the first Venom film because of how poor the reviews were and how boring the trailer was, but I know what it's about and I've seen clips online, so I was well enough prepared to come in and see a sequel. The storyline to this movie is pretty basic. They show it all in the trailer. There's a serial killer named Cletus Cassidy who is locked up, and he wants to tell his story to Eddie Brock so that he can send out encrypted messages through the newspaper to his psycho girlfriend, who is also locked up in a secret facility because she has the superpower of screaming really loudly. Cletus is getting the death penalty, and Eddie meets with him to, have a talk, and they get into a scuffle at the prison, and Cletus bites Eddie and gets some of the Venom symbiote in his mouth. Then he turns into a red symbiote who they really want you to know is named Carnage. And he breaks out of the prison, and Cletus tries to find his locked up girlfriend and get revenge on Eddie and Venom. One positive thing I will say about this movie is that thankfully it didn't involve any world-ending devices or ticking time bombs, so I am grateful for that. I had somewhat high hopes for this movie because I'm a big fan of the Cheers sitcom and I love Woody Harrelson, and I thought he would make a really creepy serial killer. But his interpretation comes off as really cartoonish. He doesn't do anything truly sinister. Like, he doesn't kill anybody in some truly crazy way. He doesn't do anything creepy. He just acts kind of like a whiny 10-year-old boy trapped in a 50-year-old man's body. His girlfriend, whose name is like Screech or Screamo or something, I can't really remember, she's really annoying. Seriously, screeching really loudly is probably the worst on-screen superpower of all time. And every time she's on screen, I just cringed because I knew that eventually she was just going to let out a really loud, high-pitched screech, and that, all the characters are going to grab their ears and scream in pain, and the windows are going to explode, and, we've seen all of that before. There are two reasons to watch a movie like this. The first reason is to see some well-choreographed action scenes, and the second reason is to see some cool visual effects, showcasing the latest improvements in computer effects technology. Let There Be Carnage did not have either of those things. There was nothing inspired in the action scenes. It was just the same old tired, one guy whips the other guy against the wall, then the other guy whips the other guy against the wall, and then they both fall through the wall, and then they go through the ceiling and come up through the floor, and so on and so on. The special effects for this movie look really dated. All the intricate details of Venom and Carnage and the symbiotes, they're all covered up by motion blur, and the symbiote's skin is constantly vibrating and moving, so there are no cool details to really look at. The Carnage visual effects should have been epic, and it should have looked hyper-realistic in 2021, but the visuals looked more like a superhero film from 2005. I think back to Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 3, and the visual effects in that movie were far superior to this one. Say what you will about Spider-Man 3, with the symbiote scenes, like where Spider-Man is sleeping and having a nightmare and the symbiote is crawling up his arms, or like when he's trying to rip the symbiote suit off himself in the church, like all of that stuff looks way better than anything in this movie. I was hoping Venom 2 would be a little darker tonally, especially since the villain is a serial killer, but they try to gloss over that little detail about the villain being a serial killer as quickly as possible, as if they're trying to appeal to 10-year-old children. Other than the obligatory F word that is in every PG-13 movie these days, everything in this movie seems designed to appeal to a very young demographic. It's a really lighthearted movie with a lot of jokes, but the humor of watching Eddie having relationship issues with a raging alien symbiote kind of wore off pretty quickly. This movie is also really short. The start time for the movie theater I was in was at 7:30, and I got out of the theater at 9:10. So, like, when you factor in the 15 minutes of previews and please silence your cell phones messages, you have a very rushed film that doesn't take any time to breathe. I'm just trying to think of all the cool things they could have done with the Cletus character in Carnage and the potential for such cool visual effects, but it was just all so tame and muted and flat, boring and loud. I know I'm repeating myself, but that's all I could really say about this movie. Also, can we please retire that joke where a monster walks into a party and everyone says, "Whoa, sick costume, bro." I mean, seriously, human beings across the planet, we need to come together and pool our collective energies and stop that joke from ever showing up in another movie. The mid-credits scene is kind of cool. I mean, nothing really cool happens per se, but it just has some implications for the future of the Venom franchise. So I liked that. It was cool to see what they will hopefully be doing in the future. But other than that, I would not recommend this movie at all. I did not like it at all. I'm reading some of the audience reactions online, however, and a lot of people seem to really like this movie, but whatever. That's this channel is called Unpopular Movie Opinions for a reason. If you think I'm wrong, let me know why in the comments below, and I will see you next time.